Hi, I'm Bishop David Evans, and welcome once again to Daddy Talk. Daddy Talk is all about having a conversation primarily with the ladies, but also for the men. Ladies, this is if you were sitting in a corner quietly, unnoticed, listening to men talk, but better than that, what I want to share with you are things that your father should have related to you so you could better navigate the key relationships with those men in your life, whether it be your father, whether it be your husband, whether it's your boyfriend, your brothers, your uncles, any kind of relational experience that you have. I want you to understand why men do certain things. Now, one of the repetitive questions that I get, and by the way, I need you to share this with your sisters, share this with your mothers, share it with the women that you know, share it with the men that you know. Some of the men will be able to say, you know what? He just said in words what I've been feeling for so long. What you want to do is share this with everyone that you can and spread this Daddy Talk conversation around, because obviously it's been a blessing to many of you. Now, one of the most frequent questions that I get, comments and questions, and this is not just when we started the Daddy Talk series, but as we have been counseling people for 30 years, and my staff has kind of gotten together and given me the numbers. There's somewhere around 49,000 people at this point over the last 30 years that we've been in counseling sessions with. Clearly, half of those, 3/4 of those have been relational. The other 50 or 25% have been personal issues with men and women. And one of the greatest questions that I get both from couples and females is, why did he stop talking? Inquiring minds want to know, why did he stop talking to me? So the question must be asked and answered. What makes a talking man stop? What makes a man who was conversant and open close up? What makes that man stop engaging in what you internally knew you needed from that individual? What makes an individual stop talking to you? Now, this, quite honestly, this works for any couple, whether you're hetero, whether you're same, it doesn't matter. Why has my significant other, why is the person that I love, why did this individual stop talking to me? All right, let's talk about it. One of the things that I've noticed over the last 30 years of having the privilege of talking to people is that adults want a conversational atmosphere they have not created. It is so consistent over the last 30 years that it's hard for me to veer away from this understanding. Pattern recognition during a 30-year period, session after session, has revealed to me that adults desire a conversation atmosphere they have not created. Secondarily, we want a conversation atmosphere that we don't contribute to, but the atmosphere we desire, we hinder the development by the way we converse. Wow. So it's like this. So you come to me for a counseling session. You tell me something quite controversial. It's a 30-minute session. You tell me the first minute of a conversation, and for 28 minutes, I'm explosive, going to the moon, over-exaggerating, gesticulating, the whole 9 yards. We get to the end of the session, and one of the craziest things I could say to you would be this: I want you to always feel as though you can talk to me. People do this all the time. We come to have a serious conversation with them. They go to the moon and expect us to desire to talk to them again. If you are explosive rather than responsive, I'm talking to you, ladies. If you're explosive rather than responsive, if you're a person who asks for opinions that you really don't want, oh my, If while an opinion that you've asked for is being given to you, you're interrupting the person every 3 or 4 words with why they shouldn't think that way, you will slowly but surely create an individual who's physically with you, but conversationally has left the room. I need you to hear me. One of the greatest hindrances to productive conversation between two people is asking for opinions that you really do not want. Asking for an opinion in which you've already decided the answer you want to receive. It gives the person you're asking the opinion from the impression, very real impression, that what you're asking for is not their heart. You're asking them to affirm and confirm what you feel and think. That individual over a period of time, if you've done it, that man over a period of time will decide it's not worth it, and you'll get this kind of whatever you want to do, it's okay, whatever you think, you'll get that as a constant reply to your conversation. Because he's checked out conversationally. Men are very good at being present while absent. You need to hear me now. So the atmosphere has to be one you create. You can't diminish the atmosphere by whenever there's a deep conversation, a conversation that has some unpleasant content, you go to the moon, dissolve in tears, start being accusatory, start, casting aspersions, start saying things to him that would hurt you if he said it to you. You're going to have a problem with conversation. And what he'll do, rather than leave you, he'll withdraw conversationally from you. So how do I know this has happened? When he talks to you and all he talks to you about is how your day was, how you're doing, how good you are, how smart you are, to keep the conversation focused on you, because you've shown him you do not want his heart to be spoken. And I know you're going to say, but that's not what I wanted. But that's what you may have cultivated by asking for opinions and a creative and a conversational atmosphere that you have not helped to build, but inadvertently have torn down. Now, sometimes a man will learn to withhold his opinion based on past conversations. So a conversational history builds up, and he comes to a conclusion one day, it's not worth the time. Now, this can happen if you're a person that is very, very hard to apologize, difficult for you to apologize. A person who does an Adam and Eve in the garden, places responsibility on everyone else except yourself, not accountable, not responsible for the things you say and do. Have some logic for why you do a thing. One of the most frustrating things for a man is for you to think, because you tell him why you did a thing, that makes it no longer offensive. It causes him the kind of frustration where it almost changes his perception of you. He'll get to the point where he'll start withholding based on past conversations. Hesitant to get involved in certain conversations because of historic reactions, inability to apologize, projecting responsibility for something you've said or done onto him. I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't done X, Y, and Z. And watch this. As I've counseled ladies over the years, those same excuses turned around are unacceptable to most ladies. So what happens? What happens? So this accountability and responsibility for words and action is key, watch this, to building his respect for you. When a man loses respect for you emotionally, he tends to converse less. If he loses respect for you spiritually, he tends to converse less. If he feels as though he has to walk on eggshells around you, I put it like this in my counseling sessions. One person cannot be allowed to carry an automatic weapon, and the other person limited to a water pistol. Patently uneven. So you'll find yourself, when you won't accept responsibility and accountability for all the things you say, all your things you do, and watch this, another thing that'll make him within this accountability responsibility thing is that when you go back to discuss the conversations that you've had in the past, which may have been damaging, ladies, watch this closely now. What you said is never what you said or meant. I know I'm right in the gravy now. I didn't mean that. I didn't say that. Now, normally what that means is this. I didn't say that can be frustrating because it can't be that you're the only person in the relationship that remembers the conversation. Because oftentimes men and women do this. I remember what you say, but I don't have total recall on what I said. I can tell you the tone of what you said, but I don't remember what I said and how I said it. So this causes a conversation piece, and this will cause a man to, after a while, start talking to you less and less. Now, here's the last one. When you learn that disrespect feels like hatred to a man, you'll be very careful about disrespecting him. Because this is how respect works with a man. Respect feels like love to a man. Just like love feels like respect to a woman. So when you consistently disrespect a man, he feels like you have contempt for him and will begin to wonder if you hate him. Because how can you love someone that feels so disrespected so consistently? So what do we have to do? We've got to be real with ourselves now, ladies. I brought up some very sensitive points. I need you to ask yourself, as it relates to the individual who has stopped speaking to you, whether it's your father, your brothers, your boyfriend, your husband, significant other, doesn't matter what kind of relationship you're in, I need you to ask yourself these 5 questions. Have I consistently disrespected the individual? Now watch what happens. I remember every negative thing you said to me, but I don't remember every good thing you said because the negative things are more memorable. All of us have been around infants. You're in the house, the baby's there, baby's about 1 or 2 years old. Baby can't say dada yet, but you mess around and say a curse word. And then the baby walks around the house repeating the curse word all day long. One exposure into the memory. The right words, repeating them over and over and over again. That's how human beings are. We remember the negatives like it's photographic. Positive things we can forget from time to time. Second thing, am I accountable and responsible for the words that I say or the words that I do, things that I do, or do I make other people accountable for my words and my actions? All right, next thing. Look, have I created the atmosphere for the conversation atmosphere that I want? Next thing, when I ask for an opinion, do I really want other people's opinions, or do I just want to hear what I want to hear? Bishop, I still understand that. Okay. So you ask him what he prefers, then do the opposite anyway. He says I like this. You come back, do the exact opposite. And then you wonder why he stopped giving you opinions and now he just says whatever you want. You like my hair like this? Yes, I really do. Go to hairdresser, come back, something crazy. 9 colors. Looks like the stylist changed their mind every 2 inches on your hair. Just some kind of crazy thing. And he looks, and then you're waiting for him to say, man, that looks fabulous. But you've already asked him what he likes. He'll get the impression, if you don't want my opinion, don't ask for it. I'm telling you what really works now. So you can't ask him for his opinion and then do the exact opposite. What do you like? And then do the exact opposite of that. He begins to feel there's no need of expressing his likes to you. Have I, last one, behaved in a way where those around me have learned not to respond? Has your family gotten so used to the way you react to things that they no longer engage you in conversations that could help? Do they just shake their heads and walk away from you? Do they just wave their hands? Ask yourself these questions, ladies. I'm telling you stuff fathers should have told you so you can navigate the relationships in a much more successful way in your life. Actually understanding the people you're around rather than trying to dictate to them how they should feel. I love having these daddy talks. Please invite some ladies to join us. Invite some men to get involved. Now, when this airs, I want you to comment. I want you to gather some people together, get some conversations going around this 10 times better. Invite people into the conversation. And I love to see the result. Remember, conversations change seasons. I'll see you next time.